some gadget reviews from mobilemag.com. I'll be covering NPR again this year. Just a lot of different things. And then I have a regular blog that I actually don't get paid for Gatehouse Media. I'm the town blogger for the town of Hingham, which is south of Boston. And that's only because I've written for them. That was one of the papers I started writing for right out of school. And they like how I write, and they don't edit it. They let me just go with an opinion column, trying to do those 3 times a week, just on stuff going on in the town. But the town's about as big as this room, so there's not a whole lot going on.
Another question in the back.
Do you earn revenue from these blogs, or do the blogs serve to drive business to the revenue producers?
No. If you're going to put a blog out there, the best you can hope for is just making a good contact, making a good impression, and getting hired. You're not going to make AdSense money. You're not going to make Amazon referral money. The only money I've made recently was actually a link to Bluehost that I had on one of my blogs, because it costs you about $70 a year to host the site there, and they pay me a referral of $65 to have someone click on it. So I was like,
actually, this question's for you. What kind? We actually in Cincinnati had 2 different judges have 2 completely different opinions on social media in the courtroom. One banned everybody, including Dateline, to have live cameras in a high-profile murder case, and then another one allowed live blogging from the courtroom. What kind of experiences have you had with the judges in the legal profession and crimes and courts and cops in terms of how you use this stuff?
Well, I have had nothing but a good experience on this. It started out with me going in and saying, look, I'm talking to a judge before a capital murder case when we were just kind of experimenting with this, and I said, you care if I sit back there and send text messages, and I kind of explained to him what Twitter was. He did not really know, but he said, nah, that's fine, send text messages. And then right in the middle of jury selection for this trial, I get a call from the American Bar Association Journal, and they want to do a story on it because they've been watching it, and saying, well, this is pretty interesting. And then right in the middle of this, the ABA Journal does a story, and of course every lawyer, judge in the world, and at the end of the day, they'll even get an email thing of the new stories. The next day, all the lawyers and the judge came in and said, what the hell is Twitter again? And they all knew about it, but it was like instant credibility because, it's in the ABA Journal and you're a lawyer. That's, something. And then from there, I've done this beat for 10 years, so I'm not just walking in. So the people, they know me, they know what kind of job I do, they tend to trust me, and I've got a good relationship with them. I went across the street to the federal courthouse where they do not even allow cell phones in, and got permission from a judge to tweet a federal RICO trial with a bunch of guys that have been charged with creating the Crips street gang in Wichita, and that was, as far as we know, the first live tweet from federal courts. And then Then the AP did a story on that, which ran on their national wire right about the time our newspaper was doing its next round of layoffs. So I always say that Twitter saved my career, because I didn't think they were going to go, oh, by the way, this guy that's got all this national attention, and the story was in USA Today, he's gone now.
Do you think though it's eventually going to get to a national standard, or do you think it's still going to be up judge to judge?
Well, and there is no absolute First Amendment right in the courts. I mean, it is up to the judges. I mean, they've got some guidelines, and it's hard to keep us out. But I think as more judges understand this, and they understand that this is not going to be intrusive to what they're doing, I think more people will allow it. I've only heard of a couple of instances. I think one was in Cincinnati, and there was one in Colorado. And the judge in Colorado, I think, was asked by the lawyers to not allow live blogging, and she ruled in favor of it. And so, and I just did 2 weeks ago. I was in Chicago and did a presentation for judges at the ABA National Convention, where I was explaining this stuff. And so, as we get the word out, as we show more, and I did for judges, they were from across the country, and they were really receptive to it. So I think as people realize that this is not going to, this is really no different from writing a story for the paper. I'm just doing it. You're seeing it sentence by sentence. So
we just went through WordPress.com or just blogging platforms and tools.
but explain the difference.
Well, the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is that one is hosted over on the WordPress site, and one just allows you the resources to host your blog on your own. And the best thing about hosting your blog on your own is that you have access to a lot more templates and a lot more freedom with what you do on your blog. When you are at WordPress.com, you're locked into the templates they have. It's similar to Blogger, but when you have it on your own, you can put different plugins in there and show video and have different sidebars and make it look however you want. I have another sidebar off to the side. I didn't format this quite right, but I can put whatever else I want there. I have a Twitter feed right now, and I just send out different tweets. Refresh this. So you have a lot more versatility with it than you would have. We'll catch back up.
Yeah, and then the next group we're going to do is how do you know how many people are reading, who's reading, because in the online age, your numbers tell the story, and people are going to want to know, well, what's the value of this? How many people actually read it?